بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم
الحمد لله رب العالمين العاقبة للمتقين ولا عدوان إلا على الظالمين اللهم صل على نبينا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين ومن تمسك بسنته إلى يوم الدين ثم أما بعد Alhamdulillah ala ni'matil Islami wa sunnah. All praise and thanks belong to Allah for guiding us to Islam and for guiding us to the Sunnah. Alhamdulillah, we continue going over the tremendous book by the Fadilat al-Shaykh Al-Allama Al-Imam Imam bin Baz rahimahullahu ta'ala. We want to go back just a little bit, inshallah ta'ala, reflecting over the tremendous dhikr that we went over in last week's class and all of the benefits that are contained therein. After which, just going back a little bit, Sheikh Abdul Razak bin Sheikh Abdul Muhsin Al-Abad Al-Badr Hafidhahumullahu Ta'ala, he mentions, he says, Ma'na la ilaha illallah, meaning, so after we reflect over the meanings that come inside of that tremendous dhikr and we extract from it, then we get some beautiful understandings as relates to the meaning of La ilaha illallah. He mentions and he says, La ilaha illallah, alla na'buda illallah, wahdahu la sharika lahu, mukhlisina lahu din. He says, is that we understand that none has the right to be worshipped in truth except Allah, and that we worship Him alone, and that we do not worship except but Allah alone without any partners, making all of our religion sincerely unto Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. The Shaykh, he mentions, he says, وَهَذَا مِنْ أَجْمَعْ وَأَحْسَنْ وَأَوْفَى ما يكون تعريفا للا إله إلا الله. He said, and this is from the most concise, the most beautiful, and the most comprehensive of what could be mentioned as relates, or of what is the definition for La ilaha illallah. Naam, La ilaha illallah, we do not worship anything except for Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala alone without any partners, and all of our religion is sincerely for Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Naam. Al-Hawsil. So in conclusion, or the takeaway, we should say, the takeaway that we get from this, أنه ينبغي أن نعلم أن تهليلات والأذكار الشرعية عموما ما جاءت لتقال مجرد قول أو أنها كلام يؤتى به في أوقات معينة مجرد إتيان. He says, so we understand from this that the tahlilat, those adhkar that contain the kalima at-tayyiba, la ilaha illallah, and those remembrance that come inside of the sharia in general, they don't come just for the sake of us saying them. Meaning that the Prophet ﷺ, he has not taught us these adhkar, he has not taught us these supplications just for the mere standpoint of just saying them, that we say them just to say them, or that they are just kalam, they are just speech that is to be brought at specific times and the only intent is just to bring them at those times. That this is not the purpose. This is not the purpose that we were taught these adhkar. This was not the purpose that we were taught these supplications. Naam, that we just say them at the appropriate time, or just for the mere fact of saying them. Naam. Now, before we go on, I want us to reflect on this bithnillahi ta'ala, because I stress, and inshallah ta'ala, I'm going to keep stressing. I'm going to keep stressing this point, because we have to look for self-improvement. We have to strive for self-improvement, especially knowing the fact that our life is limited. We're not going to be here forever. Naam. So we have to get busy on bettering ourselves. We have to get busy on bettering ourselves before we run out of time. So I want us to reflect on this, right? These adhkar, these supplications, and these remembrance, yani these dua, right? Or ad'iyah, more properly, that come inside the sharia, that are found inside of the Qur'an, and they're found inside of the sunnah of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. If it is not just the intent to say them just for the sake of saying them, or to bring them at the appropriate time just to bring them, then what will we say about a people, individuals, who don't know them to begin with? What do we say about them? People who don't know them to begin with. Now, what do we say about a people who don't know them to begin with, but they know where to find them easily? Now, what do we say about a people who don't know them to begin with, who know how to find them easily, and who own the books of adhkar that these remembrance and supplications are contained therein? Now, what do we say about a people who don't know them to begin with? They know where to find them. They not only own the books that contain these supplications, but they have an app for these supplications that they have already downloaded to their phones or tablets or whatever the case may be. What do we say about a people like this? Do these sound like people who are concerned with themselves and benefiting themselves? Because no doubt, these adhkar, these remembrances, these supplications, they are beyond important. This is why Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala revealed them in the Qur'an. This is why Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala revealed them in the Sunnah. This is why we were taught these adhkar, these remembrances, to remember Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala by way of them, to keep our tongues moist with the dhikr of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. You know, the heart, it gets rusty, right? And that which cleans the heart, because a person's concerned about their heart, right? We should be concerned about the health of our hearts. Now, that thing that will clean your heart is what? Is the dhikr, is the remembrance of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. That thing which brings tranquility to the heart is what? Is the remembrance of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Which one of us accept that we need tranquility to our hearts? And we don't have the tools by way in which to bring that tranquility to our hearts, then we're going to be cheating ourselves. Now, a person may say, for argument's sake, well, can I just remember Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and make dua unto Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala? Now, and more specifically, we mean dua right now. Can I just make dua unto Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala by using the words that I'm using? Oh Allah, bless me to get this job. Oh Allah, bless me to attain this and to attain that. Can I just say that? Yes, you can say that. But is it better for you to bring your wording, or is it better to bring the wording taught to us by the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam in those instances where we have specific wording from the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam? Of course, it's better to bring the words of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Why? Because what he came with was Juyaanee kalim. He came with short expressions that were vast in their meaning. Very short expressions, but were vast in their meaning. Now, so the ad'iyah, the supplications taught to us by the Prophet ﷺ, they are going to be more comprehensive than what we will come up and say ourselves. Now, this is not to say that an individual cannot supplicate with that and ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for his needs based upon his own wording. Yes, do that too. But do not forsake those supplications that were taught to us by the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. The Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, he taught us the dua of istikhara. Naam, when a person is making a decision. How many decisions we make inside of our lives? How many decisions do we make inside of our lives? Take this job, not take this job, marry this person, not marry this person, move this place, not move to that place, so on and so forth. Naam, a lot of decisions inside of our lives. This dua is important. This dua is important. How many of us know this dua? How many of us know this dua? And when I mean know this dua, we should know this dua, not just that when it's time for this dua, then we grab the book. Every time it's time we want to make this dua, we grab the book. No, but rather what? But rather we should memorize this dua, because there is tremendous benefit inside of this dua. Tremendous benefit inside of the dua istikhara. So much benefit. Now, ala kulli hal, I'm saying all this to say is that from the ways that we concentrate on ourselves and from the ways of self-improvement is that we get busy in learning the supplications and we devote time to learning them, to going over them, to memorizing them, so on and so forth. Is tremendously important. Listen, the Shaykh, he mentions, he says, بَلْ هَذِهِ الْأَذْكَارِ. He said, but rather these remembrances, نعم, عبارة عن تجديد للتوحيد العبد. He said, then these are expressions by way in which the slave, he renews his tawheed. He renews his tawheed. You understand? Do we understand the importance of tawheed? نعم. Allah Ta'ala says, وَمَا خَلَقْتُ الْجِنَّ وَالْإِنسَ إِلَّا لِيَعْبُدُونَ. I did not create the jinn nor the mankind except for them to worship me. That's the purpose that we were created. Now think about this. What is needed to sustain our existence? What are some of the things that are needed for us to sustain our survival? The earth. Right. We need it, right? Need a planet to live on. The earth. All the things inside the earth. The sky. All those celestial bodies that are needed so that we have life here in this planet. The sun, the moon, stars, so on and so forth. Without those things, right? There's no life on earth. Without water, there's no life on earth. Without oxygen, there's no life on earth. Without an atmosphere, there's no life on earth. So on and so forth. So when a person looks back and he sees it, then he realizes that what? Is that the creation has been created so that we establish tawheed. So now how important is tawheed? These adhkar, what a person they do when they make these adhkar, when they remember Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala by way of these adhkar, is that they renew their tawheed. They renew it. This is beyond important. Now, this is what you have to get involved with. This is what you have to busy yourself with. The likes of these things. Not just learning them, not just learning when to say them, not just learning what to say, but learning what is the meaning of what you are saying. What is the explanation of those adhkar? What is the explanation of those adhkar? What is the breakdown? What are the benefits that are contained therein? Extracting that, understanding that, having deep, profound understanding of the adhkar. Because these is from these things that the Prophet ﷺ taught us, is it renews a person's tawheed. It renews the tawheed of the abd. Naam. وَتَوْثِيقًا لِلْعَهْدِ مَعَ اللَّهِ تَبَارَكَ وَتَعَالَى. And it, what's the word I'm looking for? It ratifies, naam, the covenant with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. It reinforces, naam, reinforces the covenant with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. This is of extreme importance that we do this. Who accept that they are in need of this? Naam. وبتحقيق التوحيده إخلاص الدين له تبارك وتعالى. And it helps the individual with the establishment of his tawheed and making all of his religion sincere for Allah tabarak wa ta'ala. Deen, making all of his deen. And remember we always say, right, that deen, although it is translated often as religion, the reality is that deen is more than just a religion as understood in the Western sense of the word, but rather it's a way of life. It's a way of life. All of his life is sincere for Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. All of his life is for Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Naam. These adhkar, they help to renew the likes of this. When a person knows them, they say them, and they understand their meaning. And they understand their meaning. نعم. فتأتي هذه الكلمات مع المسلم في صباحه ومسائه. So these kalimat, they're supposed to come with a Muslim. نعم. The adhkar of the morning time, the adhkar of the evening time. They're supposed to come with a Muslim in the morning and in the evening. In the morning and in the evening. So in the morning we should be remembering Allah with those adhkar that were taught to us by the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and you find they are filled with the mention of La ilaha illallah. They are filled with the mention of La ilaha illallah. And the dua, the dhikr that we learned, we took in the last week's class, this is a good example of the likes of the meanings that are contained therein and the concepts, where you have La ilaha illallah, then it's followed up with things that help reinforce, or it follow up with things that bring you to that which is pointed to by La ilaha illallah. Naam, it brings you to things that is pointed to by La ilaha illallah. Those things that are a proof and an evidence against the slave, so that he must or she must implement La ilaha illallah. What's an example of this? There's another dua. There's another dua that is said after the salah. Naam. And that dua, it is La ilaha illallah wahdahu la sharika lahu lahul mulk wa lahul hamd wa huwa ala kulli shay'in qadir. Allahumma la mani' lima a'tayt ولا معطي لما منعت ولا ينفع ذا الجد منك الجد. Which means none has the right to be worshipped in truth except Allah. So there we see what? La ilaha illallah, the kalima. Wahdahu la sharika lah, alone without any partners. Naam, alone without any partners. A re-emphasis. We went over this last week. Naam. This is an emphasis upon the ithbat and an emphasis upon the nafi. Naam is an emphasis upon the affirmation, and it emphasizes the negation. And we went over this in last week's class. So inshallah ta'ala, refer back to your notes or to the recording. Lahul mulk, to him belong the dominion. Wa lahul hamd, and to him belongs all of the praise. Wa huwa ala kulli shay'in qadir, and he is over everything most capable. Naam. He is over everything most capable. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. We went over this in the last week's class. But also listen, that which is a proof and the evidence which shows why La ilaha illallah must be established. Look at this. Allahumma, O Allah, la mani' lima a'tayt, that there is no one who could prevent what you have given. وَلَا مُعْطِي لِمَا مَنَعْتَ. And there is no one who can give what you have prevented. Subhanallah. Allahu Ta'ala, Allahu Akbar. Allah is the greatest. Naam. Allah is the greatest. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, masha Allah can, wa ma lam yasha lam yakun. Whatever Allah is, whatever Allah wills is. Whatever He does not will, it is not. Naam. Everything belongs unto Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. What Allah gives, no one can take it. What Allah does not give, no one can give it. Allah is all powerful. So all of this, what is the proof and the evidence to establish La ilaha illallah? With this being the case, all of the worship belongs unto Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So an individual can say, we know textually and we know intellectually that all of the ibadah belong unto Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. The text is clear. Intellectually, from our fitrah, it is clear. Why? Because everything else is impoverished. Everything else is impoverished. So why would you ask something that can't benefit itself nor bring harm to itself? It can't benefit you and it can't hurt you. So what you asking it for? It's a waste of time. It's like asking a poor man for money. He don't got nothing. He ain't got nothing to give you. Huh? Al-faqidu shay la yu'tihi. The one who is deprived of something can't give it. The creation is deprived. They're poor. They have no power. They have nothing. So we don't ask them. And this is why the Prophet ﷺ told Ibn Abbas radiyallahu ta'ala anhuma, Na'am, إِذَا سَأَلْتَ فَاسْأَلِ اللَّهِ. If you ask Allah. Allahu Akbar. But we see here in this dhikr, right, this remembrance after the salah, this beautiful expression, that will increase the value of our lives if we truly understood it. Allahumma la mani' lima a'tayt wa la mu'ti lima mana'at. That, oh Allah, there is no preventer for what you have given, and there is no person that can give something for that which you have prevented. Naam. This increases an individual's quality of life, and it brings to them peace of mind. It brings to them solace. Naam. That whatever comes their way, it is theirs and can't nobody take it. Whatever is not written for them is not theirs and can't nobody give it. That increases the quality of an individual's life. That increases the tranquility of an individual's heart. We benefit in every which way, shape, and form. But how are we going to benefit from these treasures if we have not attained them? We will not be able to benefit. So we have to really deal with self-improvement. We have to deal with the self-improvement, bi'ithnillahi ta'ala, and these adhkar are so important, so important. Naam. Really, brothers, sisters, listen, these adhkar are so important. I don't care what you claim, who you claim to be around, so on and so forth. If these basic fundamental things are not intact, you are ruined. The Shaykh, he says, وَفِي الصَّلَوَاتِ, and inside of a person's prayers comes these adhkar. It comes the tawheed. It comes the kalima of tawheed. Naam, inside of the adhkar. Think about it. Think about that. Naam. All of the adhkar that we say in the salah. Naam. Contemplate on those meanings. وَفِي تَحَرُّكَاتِ, and inside of a person's movements. وَتَنَقُّلَاتِ, and inside of his going and comings, his movements. Naam. His daily actions, so on and so forth. وَفِي جَمِيعِ الْأَمْرِ, and in all of his affairs. You find these adhkar in all of the affairs. A person, he will find his life filled with ibadah, filled with the remembrance of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. If they learn the adhkar, and you pace yourself. This is just some advice now for learning the adhkar. You pace yourself. You pace yourself by taking a dhikr, and you concentrate on that dhikr. Naam. And you know yourself. So every individual is different. You do what you can do. Naam. So So if that means you do one dhikr a month, then okay, you do one dhikr a month. If it takes you a month to really get it like that, then okay, it's fine. The point is that you constantly keep getting better, because the strength of the memory, the strength of the intellect, so on and so forth, is like the strength of the body. An individual, when they exercise, right? They exercise according to their ability, and the more they do, the more they are able to do. This is how it is. Individual, they're lifting weights, for example, they start with a weight they can handle. Naam. And then as they work out with that weight becomes light, they can add a little bit more. They can handle more, then a little bit more. So the person who has worked out for a long time, he can handle a lot, because they have built themselves up and conditioned themselves for this. Likewise with memorizing, likewise with the strength of a person's brain, and so on and so forth. The same thing. The strength of a person's intellect, the same thing. The more you work it, the stronger it gets. Now, as for example, it's like a person that reads a lot. A person reads a lot. You'll find that person, they will read faster generally than people who don't read that much. People who are finishing books per year, so on and so forth, then they're going to read faster and comprehend faster and better than people who are not used to reading. Now, which brings me to another suggestion, or just a question I'm asking everybody, right? You know, they say they got like summertime reading lists, and that, Sheikh Ahmed al-Najmi, rahimahullah ta'ala, he used to ask the students, okay, during the summer break, what are your plans? What are your plans over the summertime? What do you, meaning educationally? What's your summer reading? What book you read in the summer? I was asking myself, everybody else, what book you read in this summer, right? What book you want to finish this summer, right? What surah are you going to memorize this summer? So on and so forth. Now, I'm one of the students. Sheikh he asked him that. He said it was Sheikh Zayd al-Madkhali, rahimahullah ta'ala. He asked him, what you do for the summer? And he mentioned he memorized Surah Al-Baqarah and some other things in the summertime. Yeah, that's how he spent the summer. Allahu Akbar. Allahu Akbar. So how are we spending our summers? This is some food for thought. But anyway, you start off with the dhikr, and you memorize what you can memorize from it. If it's line by line, phrase by phrase, whatever you can take, you take it. You be consistent upon it. You review it. If you have to say it repeatedly, you will say it repeatedly. You take a portion of it and you say it 50 times or 75 times, just that portion, just that sentence, and you keep saying it until you got it. Then you move on to the next one and you say that 50 times, 75 times, so on and so forth, and you keep repeating it, and you use it at the proper time. You use it at the proper time, and if you have to bring the book or the app, then you say what you have memorized from memory, and then you look and you read the rest. And you keep doing that. And you keep doing that. Day in, day out. You keep doing that, and bi'ithnillahi ta'ala, it will be easy. Bi'ithnillahi ta'ala, it will be easy. Bit by bit, step by step, shay'in for shay'. Okay? This is just some advice on doing that. This is how we do the real self-help, self-improvement. Now, because these things are needed in all of our life, every situation that we in, we need to know what is the dhikr, what is the dua, what's the supplication from the deen that we're supposed to say given this situation. Now, why? Because these things تجدد عهد التوحيد وميثاقه العظيم بأن يخلص العبد دينه لله سبحانه وتعالى وأن يفرد ربه تبارك وتعالى بالعبادة والذل والخضوع. نعم. فلا يدعو إلا الله ولا يسأل إلا الله ولا يستغيث إلا بالله ولا يتوكل إلا على الله ولا يصرف شيئا من العبادة إلا لله وحده. Now, is that we renew the slave, he will renew his tawheed, he will renew his covenant, this tremendous covenant that all of the religion, all of the life of the slave is sincere for Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, that he singles out his Lord tabarak wa ta'ala with his worship, with his humility, with his submitting himself. That he submits himself in totality. Naam, or she submits herself in totality. So therefore, they do not supplicate, they do not call upon anyone except Allah. They do not ask except Allah. They do not seek help in times of peril except with Allah. They do not put their trust upon anyone other than Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Naam. And they do not give anything from ibadah to anything other than Allah alone. So all of their worship is for Allah and Allah alone. Naam. This is extremely important. These objectives, what will help you to accomplish them is the adhkar. The supplications. The supplications that have been taught to us by Allah and His Messenger. Sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. Naam. The Shaykh goes on and he says, فَقَدْ وُجِدَ فِي النَّاسِ مِمَّنْ لَمْ يَعْقِلْ هَذَا الْمَقْصِدِ الْعَظِيمِ. He said, you will find from people those who they have not comprehended. They have not comprehended this tremendous purpose. They're from mankind, those who have not comprehended this tremendous purpose. They have not comprehended what is the meaning of La ilaha illallah and what it points to. They have not comprehended it. Na'am. Man yarfa'u mathalan asba'ahu قائلا لا إله إلا الله وهو لا يعرف مدلول هذه الكلمة. The Shaykh, he says, for example, you may find a person, they raise their finger and they say La ilaha illallah. They said, but this individual does not understand that which La ilaha illallah points to. They do not know that which La ilaha illallah points to. They don't know what this kalima it points to. نعم ولذا تجده بعد قليل يمد يديه ويقول مدد يا فلان. They said, and for this reason you will find a person will say La ilaha illallah, but then because they don't know the meaning, you will find them shortly thereafter raising their hands and saying, oh so and so help me. Naam, oh so and so help me. Whether that so and so is whoever, Badawi or Abdul Qadir Jalani or whoever, from their awliya, they call upon other than Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala wa iyadhu billah. And all of this points to the fact that they don't know. I've mentioned many times before about the worshippers of Sayyid Badawi, how they celebrate his birthday and they celebrate 6 months before his birthday too, right? And how in those occasions, from the chants and the nasheed, the Sufi songs, the gospel, Sufi songs is what it is, right? Because they got it from the gospel, right? They have in it La ilaha illallah. But then a few lines later, the next verse, whatever you want to call it, they're calling upon Sayyid Badawi. They're slaughtering animals in the name of Sayyid Badawi. They're making shirk with Sayyid Badawi and others. Naam, they're making shirk by calling upon Sayyid Badawi, and they call upon others too in their chants that contain La ilaha illallah. So a person with the intellect that witnesses this, the only conclusion you can draw from that is that what? They do not understand the meaning of La ilaha illallah. They do not understand the meaning because it, la yu'qal, it is not into, what's the word? It is not fathomable that a person would say La ilaha illallah in one breath and then completely contradict it in the next. It's not fathomable. It doesn't make sense. Is no way. The only way that can happen is because they do not understand the meaning of La ilaha illallah. Now, understand that this is the situation with the majority of the Muslims. Shaykh Albani, rahimahullah ta'ala, and listen now, and I want to say this because this is a really important point, really. The ulama, they mentioned that this time that we live in right now, this is the time of gentleness in dealing with the Muslims. Now, this is not to say that there's no harshness, never. No, harshness is applied when it is needed. Now, when harshness is needed, we apply harshness because that's from wisdom. To put ease in the place of harshness is not wisdom, and to put harshness in the place of ease is not wisdom. However, after saying that and making that clear, let's speak real for real. As the ulama they mentioned, the origin is ease. That's the origin, is that you're gentle and you're easy, especially when dealing with the people who are ignorant, especially dealing with the people who are grossly ignorant. You understand? Sheikh Albani, he mentions that if you were to ask the majority of the Muslims, where? In the world, if you were to ask the majority of the Muslims in the world, what is the meaning of La ilaha illallah? He says, predominantly, it will be one or two scenarios. Predominantly, it will be one or two scenarios. They will either give you a wrong meaning, they will give you a false meaning, or they will say, I don't know. Okay? The majority of the Muslims in the world, they will either give you a false meaning, or they will say, I don't know. Wait. With such a level of ignorance, can you really tell me where it's justified harshness against a common person like that? That's that grossly ignorant? That they don't even know the meaning of La ilaha illallah? Subhanallah. Even though they may be involved in da'wah. Because you know Jama'atul Tabligh involved in da'wah. One time a Tabligh, he tried to invite me to what they was upon and so on and so forth. So in the discussion I asked him, how long you been with Jama'atul Tabligh? And he told me like many years, 10 years or something like this, right? I don't remember exactly right now. But it was something like a long time. A long time. Close to a decade or more than a decade, he was Jama'atul Tabligh. All the time, he's out there giving da'wah. The same way he was trying to give me da'wah and call me to something, right? That's what he's been doing for the time he's been with them, for however long time he been with them. Ala kulli hal, he's there trying to give me da'wah, right? So I asked him, because of course, we're not letting that happen like that. So I asked him, I said, look, stop. Let me ask you this. What is the meaning of La ilaha illallah? He looked at me blank face. I don't know. I don't know what you want me to say. I said, Subhanallah, what do you mean you don't know what I want to hear? I want to hear what's correct. I want you to tell me the real meaning. That's it. I want you to tell me the real meaning. What is it? I'd rather not say because I don't know. Beating around the bush until it became clear he does not know the meaning. He does not know the meaning. You understand? Even the translation that was offered was wrong. There is no God except Allah. This is wrong. Naam, this is wrong. Because a God is that which is worshipped. A ma'bud. Naam. Somebody takes something as worship, then you say about this ma'bud. It's a God. Right? So to say there is no God but Allah, that's not correct. It's not correct from the standpoint of the meaning, the standpoint of the words themselves is not correct, right? Because do people worship Buddha? Yeah. Do people worship Krishna and whoever? Yes. People worship stones and statues and all this type of stuff. They worship these things. So we say these things are not gods? Yeah, these things are gods, but they're what? They're false gods. They're worshiping falsehood because they're not real. They have no power. They're nothing. They're impoverished. You understand? But nevertheless, they're false deities. They're false gods. So a person would have come and they say that it means there is no God but Allah. From that standpoint, it doesn't even match reality. If they're saying it to mean that people don't worship these things, don't exist. There's no such thing as people worshiping Buddha or statues, stuff like that. So that's contrary to reality. So that can't be it. So what's the other thing that can possibly mean? There is no God but Allah, meaning that what? Because everything that is worshipped is Allah. So then that would mean that Buddha, wa'iyadu billah, Krishna, wa'iyadu billah, to the end of it. The cow, a'udhu billah. So we know that's not the meaning. That's kufr. That's a kufr that's beyond the kufr of the Christians. The Christians put divinity inside of one individual, one human being, and that's too much. That's wrong. But now a person says that, and that's what they mean by that, then that enters into Subhanallah, everything. Subhanallah, a'udhu billah. So that's not the meaning of La ilaha illallah, because La ilaha illallah has come to make clear what Tawheed. And this is why the meaning of it is what? La ma'buda bihaqqin illallah. That nothing has the right to be worshipped in truth except Allah. There is nothing worshipped in truth except Allah. Naam, Allah is the only one that's worshipped in truth. Everything else that is worshipped other than Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is worshipped in falsehood. Naam, وَمَا عُبِدَ وَمَنْ عُبِدَ مِن دُونِ اللَّهِ فَعُبِدَ بِالْبَاطِلِ. Whatever is worshipped and whoever is worshipped other than Allah is worshipped in falsehood. ذَلِكَ بِأَنَّ اللَّهَ هُوَ الْحَقِّ وَأَنَّ مَا يَدْعُونَ مِن دُونِهِ الْبَاطِلِ. That is because Allah is the truth and that which is called upon other than Him is false. Naam. Long story short is take nothing for granted. These people who give da'wah, right? And I'm using this tablighi as an example. Give da'wah. Got a big beard. Got his pants above his ankles. Shavar qamis. So his awrah is covered. So on and so forth. Got a kufi taqiyya upon his head, and so on and so forth. Seemingly look righteous. Inviting people to come to the masjid, and so on and so forth. Don't take it as a given and say, oh, he already know the meaning of La ilaha illallah. Most of them don't. The vast majority don't. You understand? Because the vast majority of Muslims don't. So with this being the case, how can we be rough and tough with the people who are this extremely ignorant? Do you understand? And then when a person is on this level of ignorance, is anyone surprised by their social media activity? Because you look at the Muslims on social media, wallah musta'an, is like they got one foot in the deen, one foot in the dunya. You understand? So much so, and an extreme example of this is those sisters who, and this is the extreme of it makes no sense in any which way, shape, and form, but you will see them covered in one post, and in another post completely uncovered. What sense does that make? What sense does that make? Completely covered in one post, and then in another post you're not covered. What sense does that make? One foot in, one foot out. One post is a hadith of the day. Another post is to a music video. Subhanallah. What? Not justifying what they're doing, because it's wrong. It's wrong all day long. But it makes sense for the people who are just that ignorant. It makes sense. You understand? So this is why it is imperative that we stress and we convey in a kind and gentle manner, in an efficient, clear manner, that which will benefit the Muslims. And we call them to what? To La ilaha illallah. We call them to and teach them what is the true meaning of La ilaha illallah. We teach them what is the true meaning of Muhammad Rasulullah. A lot of the stuff that's going on right now from these things inside the lives of the Muslims, do you think that's because they truly understand the meaning of Wa ashhadu anna Muhammadan Rasulullah? No, it is not. Because their action, they doing this inside and out type of behavior, one foot in, one foot out type behavior. Does that come as a result of a person trying to follow the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam? No, it does not. So why? What's the khalal? What is the source? What is the source reason behind that deficiency? Is because of their lack of knowledge of what it means to follow the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Because if they knew how to follow the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, then you won't find in most cases people acting like that. Now of course you always got your knuckleheads that are going to be obstinate and going to do what they know they shouldn't be doing. You got that, and it is what it is. But the point is that most of the people, and I really believe is having husnul done for the Muslims, most of them is just ignorant. They don't know. And this is why we have to convey to them the da'wah. So we have to convey to them the da'wah. And there's so many other things that could be mentioned that are related to that topic, but that is a series of classes all within itself. So we'll leave it like that. Anyway, the Shaykh, he mentions, he says, a person in one breath, they say La ilaha illallah. Then they turn around and they say, oh, so-and-so help me. Oh, so-and-so help me. Calling upon one of the dead ones in the grave. Right? يعني على سبيل المثال. The Shaykh, he says, هذا تناقض. He said, this is contradiction. This is contradiction. نعم صريع. نعم, this is contradiction صريع بين اتيانه بكلمة التوحيد ونقضه لها بهذا الدعاء لغير الله. He said, this is clear. This is clear contradiction. Now, this is a quick contradiction between him bringing the kalima of Tawheed and then turn around and negate it by making dua to other than Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Nobody will come with these type of contradictions except a person who does not know what they are saying. لأنه يقولها ولا يعي معناها. The Shaykh says, because he says it but he doesn't know the meaning. ولا يعي ما دلت عليه من التوحيد لله, and he does not know that which it points to from tawheed unto Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. وإخلاص لله بالعبادة, and to single out Allah alone and to have sincerity unto Allah in ibadah. They don't know what is entailed by the kalima of La ilaha illallah. Now, wa ifradihi jalla wa ala, and to single out Allah alone, bidhul, with humility, wal khudu', and submitting oneself, wal du'a, and with all the supplication belongs to Allah and Allah alone, wal raja, and hope. Naam, what du'a a'zam anwa' an ibadah, and du'a is the greatest category of ibadah. Bal qala Nabi sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, but rather the Prophet sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, he said, ad-du'a huwa al-ibadah, that du'a, it is ibadah. Naam. Wa tala qawl Allah ta'ala, and he recited Allah Ta'ala's statement, qala rabbukum ud'uni astajib lakum. Allah Ta'ala, he says, and your Lord says, call upon me and I will answer you. إن الذين يستكبرون عن عبادتي سيدخلون النار سيدخلون جهنم داخلين. And because verily those who are arrogant and obstinate as relates to my worship, then we will enter them into the hell disgraced. نعم سيدخلون جهنم داخلين. They will enter into hell disgraced. So if you see here, the Prophet ﷺ, he said, ad-du'a huwa al-ibadah, that du'a, verily it is ibadah. And its construction in the Arabic language, then it is for emphasis. Naam, it shows its emphasis. Ad-du'a huwa al-ibadah. Naam, that du'a, verily it is ibadah. So the Prophet ﷺ, he referred to du'a, supplication, as ibadah. Right. And in the ayah, Allah Ta'ala, he says, وَقَالَ رَبُّكُمُ ud'uni, and your Lord says, call upon me, make du'a, ud'uni, call upon me, make du'a to me, astajib lakum, I will answer you, supplicate to me, I answer you. And then Allah Ta'ala, he says, إِنَّ الَّذِينَ يَسْتَكْبِرُونَ عَنْ عِبَادَتِي, and verily those who are obstinate and arrogant as relates to my worship. So Allah Ta'ala, he referred to what? Du'a as what? Worship. Ad-du'a huwa al-ibadah. And this is why the Shaykh, he says that du'a, it is from the greatest category of ibadah. It's from the greatest category of ibadah. Now, then the Shaykh, he mentions, he brings an incident that had happened, a story, real life story. He says, وَحَدَّثَنِي أحد الأفاضل, he said, and one of the noble ones, he mentioned to me. Now, وَأَلَمَنِي حَنِيفُ, he said, and when he mentioned to me, it hurt me. It was hurtful. Very hurtful. فَقَالَ, and we all should be hurt by this. I'm being real with you. We all should be hurt by this. The fact that the Muslims don't understand the meaning of La ilaha illallah, this should hurt us. This is painful. Because what pains our brothers should cause us pain. You understand? When we see our brothers and our sisters in a bad situation, that should trouble us. In any event, the Shaykh, he says, and it hurt me what he said. فقال, he said, سمعت رجلا في سجوده. He said, I heard a person inside of his sujood. Right? You know, sometimes you're praying, you can hear the person next to you, what they're saying. He said, I heard a person inside sujood, yaqul, he said, madada ya fulan. He said, oh, help me, oh, so-and-so. Right? He's in sujood, and he's calling upon somebody else. He's calling upon other than Allah. وَقَدْ قَرَأَ في Surah Al-Fatiha. But in Surah Al-Fatiha, he just got finished saying, إِيَّاكَ نَعْبُدُ وَإِيَّاكَ نَسْتَعِينُ. He just got finished saying this in Surah Al-Fatiha. Then by the time he make it to sujood, he making shirk. He just got finished saying, it is you alone that we worship, you alone that we ask for help. Then he get into sujood and he worshiping and asking somebody else for help. A'udhu billah. A'udhu billah. This is the state that the ummah is in. This is the state that we in. You understand? The Shaykh, he says, وَهَذِهِ عَهْدٌ بَيْنَهُ وَبَيْنَ اللَّهِ. He said, this is a covenant between you and Allah. When a person enters into Islam, it takes shahada. We say, La ilaha illallah. Na'am, we say, Ashhadu an la ilaha illallah wa ashhadu anna Muhammad Rasulullah. This is a contract. If you want to put it in other words, this is a contract. Right? Because covenant, contract, that's what I mean. Right? This is a contract. It's a contract between a slave and between Allah. That what? That he will not make dua to anything except Allah. He will not ask for help in anything except Allah. Right? When he asks, he will only ask Allah. He will put his ultimate trust upon Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, so on and so forth. That's the covenant between him and Allah. And then he turns around inside the same salah. Inside the same salah, he turn around, and when he's in sujood, and when we're in sujood, that's the closest we are to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And then when he's in sujood, he makes dua to other than Allah. He turns around and breaks the covenant. Subhanallah. Subhanallah. أين هذا العهد الذي قاله وهو قائم? Where is the covenant? Where is the contract that he agreed to when he was standing? إياك نعبد وإياك نستعين. Where's that contract? When he was standing and he said, it is you alone that we worship, you alone that we ask for help. أي نعبدك ولا نعبد غيرك. Meaning we worship you, we don't worship other than you. We worship you only. We don't worship nothing else. وَنَسْتَعِينُ بِكَ وَلَا نَسْتَعِينُ بِغَيْرِكَ. That we seek help with you. We don't seek help in other than you. نعم. وَقَدْ قَالَ النَّبِي صلى الله عليه وسلم لِابْنِ عَبَّاسِ. And the Prophet صلى الله عليه وسلم said to Ibn Abbas رضي الله تعالى عنهما, إِذَا سَأَلْتَ فَاسْأَلِ اللَّهِ. When you ask Allah. وَإِذَا اسْتَعَنْتَ فَاسْتَعِنْ بِاللَّهِ. And when you ask for help, then ask for help with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And then the Shaykh goes on to finish the hadith, but inshallah ta'ala we want to talk about the hadith for a little bit. Naam. So we're going to save that into the next class بإذن ta'ala. فنكتفي بهذا القدر وصلى الله وسلم على نبينا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين وجزاكم الله خيرا.